I'm turbocharging the Beams 3S GE in my AE86 using a Surfab turbo manifold. Here's everything I'm going to be going over in this video, a little sneak peek for you. Downpipe, external wastegate, oil drain line, oil feed line. With any project where you're turbocharging something that didn't normally come turboed, there are some things that you're going to have to modify. It's not going to be a perfect universal fit. What I can say about this turbo manifold is it works for any rear-wheel drive Beam 3S GE vehicle. So whether it's an AE86, an IS300, an SXE10 Altezza, this will work for this engine. But when it's not sold in a complete kit with a downpipe turbo and everything like that, there's always going to be a little bit of customization that needs to happen for this to work correctly for your vehicle. The workbench is a little messy, but this is the turbo I'm running, which is a Garrett G3660. And the best thing about it is that it has V-bands. I like the V-band. So that's something I had to ask Surfab to do. So what you're going to have to do with this manifold to make it work for your car is you're going to have to choose your turbo, and then choose your flange, right? So typically, I think Surfab normally sells with the T3, T4 flange. I asked them to put a V-band on for my turbo. Then you have to do the oil feed, the oil return, downpipe, and the external wastegate. These are the four things that you're going to have to custom do, as well as, the intake off the turbo, but that's a whole nother thing. Simon tried to do me a huge solid weld on the flange for my external wastegate before shipping it to me. However, it didn't quite work out how we were hoping to. Well, let me show you. With how Simon positioned the external wastegate flange here, it actually ends up interfering with the steering shaft. And it wasn't anything he did intentionally. This just, my steering rack is relocated an inch forward, so that caused some issues. Plus, this is a left-hand drive car, whereas down there in New Zealand, they have right-hand drive cars. So this isn't something that I think he could really, unfortunately, do just by, some guesswork without having the car in front of him. So what I've decided to do with this is I'm going to re-weld the wastegate flange, and we're going to tilt the wastegate kind of like this. And so this way it can clear the intermediate shaft for the steering and the U-joint and all that stuff. So I'm hoping that I've got it marked correctly. It's going to end up shortening it a little bit, but I think I can get away with just doing one cut and then welding it back together. Let's go ahead and yank the turbo manifold out, and we'll get it over on the bench and mark it and cut it, and then tack it back together to see if we can make this work. Okay, now we're over in kind of the fabrication side of my garage, and I've gone ahead and cut the flange off, and let me show you what I'm doing with it. So I cut it, and I tried to cut it at an angle. I don't know if you can see that, but it's at an angle. And then also on the flange itself, this is quite a bit of an angle. I've got it marked. Here's the high side right here on this side. That's the high side. So I line up the high side with that. You can see it kicks at an angle. So now we're going to go ahead and tack this in place. We're going to see if this is going to work, or if I need to adjust it, grind it down some more, and kick it to more of an angle. It's a couple days later. Finally got this at least tacked into place where it needs to be. My welder broke, so I had to order some stuff and fix it. But let me show you where we ended up at with the wastegate. You can even see it from up top. There we go. Plenty of clearance for the steering shaft and everything. And the dump pipe will go on this side of it. It's not quite done yet. I'm gonna have to modify the dump pipe a little bit, but there we go. Now you can see the dump tube. It's gonna go on the other side of the intermediate shaft. I do have to modify it a little bit though, because it's touching the transmission, so but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. Now we're gonna get to welding. I am not the best at TIG welding, but I think I'll do all right on this. We'll find out. This isn't perfect by any means, but for somebody who hasn't TIG welded in a really long time, I'm pretty happy with that. The penetration looks pretty good on the inside too. You can't really see it here, but yeah, that's done. Now we can go fit it back on the car and then play with the dump tube. I'm going to modify it a little bit so it fits better. All right, everything is back on the car. And I did some work, just a little bit, on fitting up the dump tube there. It is pretty close to the transmission over here, but it clears it. And it's also clearing the steering shaft by a good amount there too, if it'll focus on it. See, it's clearing the steering shaft for quite a bit too. So here's my steering rack. Here's the dump tube. I want it to go this way and kind of wrap close to the transmission, because right now it's coming way too far out this way. I want it to be tight against the transmission. So this is my center line here that I've marked. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut slits in this and bend it that way and then weld it back together, and hopefully that gets it tight to the transmission and clears more room for the downpipe. It's another day, obviously I've changed. We're gonna go ahead and hopefully get this dump tube done. So here's that center line. I think some people call it a datum line that I was referring to, and I've sort of marked out these, cut these at. So every time I cut it, it's gonna take out a little bit of material, but then on the back side, I've left it open. I'm not going to cut all the way through. I'm just going to cut most of the way through. So then I can like fold it and it'll boop, 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 and kind of hopefully give it a bit of an angle. We're going to start with 4 and see what kind of an angle that puts it at, because I don't want to cut too much away. And I get to do this all by hand. So it's going to be sitting here with my cutoff wheel, my grinder here, trying to get it as straight as possible. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not going to lie, these welds are not going to win any kind of awards, but as long as they don't crack and the pipe holds, I'm not really too concerned about this, at least. Yeah, but it's done. You can see it's got this nice bend in it here, so this should perfectly clear the transmission and engine. Right, so I got a little carried away, and before I can show you what that dump tube looks like on the car, I just kept going on stuff and working on stuff, and well, it's pretty much all done. I didn't really film it all, so actually I filmed none of it. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like before we go over to the car. So we'll start with the downpipe here. The downpipe, I started with just a V-band that had already been welded to just a 90-degree and straight pipe. I ended up doing some kind of goofy pie cuts and everything to make it really, really tight against the manifold there, so that way it gives me clearance for the firewall and the frame rail and the steering shaft and, well, all that stuff. It gets really tight in here. And then down here at the bottom of it, I had to get a little goofy with another little pie cut, itty bitty pie cut there, to be able to get that V-band at the right position. And I'll show you all that, how that works, I guess, once we get it in the car, because it was ridiculously difficult. The next thing I think I really want to show is the oil drain tube. I'm hoping you can see it in there. Right here, that's the drain tube. It is such a tight fit. This is an aluminum hardline here at the top, and you can see it's got a little bit of clearance with the V-band clamp there, but it's pretty tight. And then I also have some clearance with it and the runners, and then the this tube here is for the external wastegate. So it's a very tight fit, and there's a couple of really close like compound type of bends. And then as it goes down here towards the bottom, you can see that fitting right up in there, I think anyway, right up there at the top. That's where it transitions from the aluminum hard line to a soft flexible line that I've also put this heat shielding on, and it tees down here into the head oil drain. Bending that aluminum hard line was actually extremely difficult, and I used this guy, which is, I don't know, a spring bendy kind of a thing. I chose to do aluminum over something like stainless steel or steel because I needed something that I could work around easily because of how complex these bends were to fit it in such a tight space. I may end up regretting it later, I'm not really sure. Aluminum does work harden, so as it gets hot or as it vibrates, it does become brittle. And so I'm a little worried at the fitting right at the turbo, because where that fitting is, that AN fitting, I had to flare it using this. This is a 37-degree tube flaring tool from Speedway. It's nothing special, nothing fancy. It works literally the exact same as a tube flaring tool for just like a regular brake line or anything else like that. So if you don't know how to use one of those, go look up how to flare brake lines, and that'll show you how to do it. What was difficult about flaring it is that because it's aluminum, if I crank it too tight, it actually can push back on the flare and cause it to straighten back out. So you have to torque it to the right spec, otherwise it causes problems. So fingers crossed I got that right. And like I said, we'll see if this ends up biting me in the butt later or not. Maybe I'll end up swapping to a stainless line later. I don't really know, but this is what I'm trying running it first and see how it does. These are all of my failed attempts at bending. And it was extremely difficult to get the right bend and the right flare and the right everything on it. I mean, you can see at some points this one got kinked, and so I had to redo it. And some of these other ones, well, I already cut all the flared ends off of them, but pretty much some of these other ones, the issue was the flare itself straightened out. Actually, this one, you can see it. This one, the flare actually did straighten out almost entirely. And so I was able to just pull the fitting off on that end. Now I opted to do the oil drain for the turbo here on the side of the block and tee it into the head oil drain. That's this guy, and it goes on that fitting there. Because I thought that was a better way to drain it than going to something like the oil pan. I know some people like to put their oil drain on the oil pan, and that's good for, I think, vehicles that have a taller oil pan or oil sump. You see, you want to put the turbo drain above the oil fill level. That way when it drains out, it has somewhere to go and doesn't back up the line. Because if that drain line gets backed up, it actually can blow out the seals in the turbo. So have everything, like the full oil level is pretty much this steel pan. There's just no room to put an oil drain fitting here, in my opinion. You could put one up here in the aluminum sump or something, but that's a huge pain. I don't have to pull that off because you gotta tap it and all this extra stuff. I don't want to deal with any of that. So this was my solution. I've heard some people had some issues. I'm hoping I did a pretty good job with this. I notched it out as best as I could to make it so there were no edges around where this was teed into. And I mean, I spent a lot of time. I think I spent about 3 or 4 hours just making that fitting. I'm not necessarily the most proficient, but I did spend a good chunk of time on it. The oil feed line is pretty straightforward. This is pretty normal. You could probably buy a -4 AN oil feed line for almost any universal application. I decided to make my own. This is a PTFE AN line. That's what these fittings are for, is for PTFE. And then I also have this, once again, a fireproof sheathing on it, just like I do for the oil drain line that'll help prevent the oil from getting coked or baked in that line. Where it's gonna attach on the block or on the engine down here is gonna be this fitting or one of these guys in the front. I haven't quite decided yet. You need an adapter, which is a pretty standard adapter here, brass fitting. And then I also have, I think it goes from like whatever weird thread is on the upper oil pan to like a straight metric or something, and then an AN. I forget exactly what I use, but it all works, and maybe I'll post links to that in the video description as well, so that way you can buy those in case you need it. All right, now it's time to go ahead and put this in the car, and that way you can see how everything fits, how tight it is, and that will pretty much be it for this, I guess. The only thing left will be to do the intercooler and intake side of things. I'm not going to include that in this video because that's going to be very specific to how you want to run things, but maybe I'll show you a sneak peek or something of how I do it. Turbo is on. We've also added a few things, like this super sweet turbo blanket, and then this is the throttle cable. I added a little heat shielding here as it passes by. That way, that throttle cable doesn't get melted, so we're doubled up on the turbo heat blanket and the heat sleeve for the throttle cable. And really, it is a ridiculously tight fit. Like really, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but this is like, ooh man, I gotta pat myself on the back because how tight everything is together. Like even just from right here, it looks like the turbo is on the firewall because of how tight everything is. If we go over here, I'll show you. Like if you think that's tight here, this is nothing. I'll show you from underneath. This was really crazy to snake it in here. To put the downpipe in, I have to like come across the top of the engine, twist it, and finagle it on down in so that way it fits. You can install it from the top, but it is almost impossible. It really takes quite a bit of effort to get it in. We'll start right here with the wastegate dump tube. That is less than a finger's width away from this big block here on the
on the engine and transmission. Crazy, oops, crazy tight under there. Man, that's nuts. And you can see it clears the steering shaft just perfectly, no problems. And then looking at the downpipe, this is where things should really show you how hard it was to fit this. I mean, that's really tight to the steering shaft, but really the tightest fit here is gonna be to the frame rail. You see that? That's not just like crazy camera angle. That is how tight that is. That is crazy close to the frame rail. Yeah. And then I could probably adjust the dump tube a little bit because right now it's like millimeters away from the downpipe here. That can be adjusted. I can rotate the dump tube a little bit so it's a little bit further away, but not much. That's really tight. Luckily I positioned this far away enough from the chassis and from everything that I should be able to do a couple of pie cuts here and do my mid pipe, but I'll do that later. I also have the intercooler sort of installed, at least bolted the car, and I've got to make intercooler pipes here next. But that's pretty much the largest intercooler that you can fit here. It's a little wider than is ideal because I want it to sit right back against the radiator. Unfortunately, it's just too wide. It hits the headlight motors. So I guess I could take the headlight motors out since the headlights don't work currently because of some body fitment issues. But I think what I'll do is add a little ducting plastic piece to that to duct it to the radiator. However, I'm pretty stoked with how that fitment turned out anyway with the intercooler, and I'm also stoked about everything with the turbo. It fits so snug, so tight. It's gonna be hot up there at the top, but as it gets further down away from the car, underneath there's a little more space, so at least it won't melt my shoes too bad, hopefully. And then for the turbo oil feed, I did hook it up down there, the bottom of the block in the front. I don't really like how it comes off the front like that. You know, I do have an oil pressure or oil temperature sensor right here, so I might swap those around. I'm not really decided yet, but the turbo's on, and I'm super excited. This is the first video with the turbocharger and everything on the car. In the next video, we'll do everything for the intake side of things, the intercooler piping, the intercooler itself, all that stuff, and then we'll also do the control side, the 3-port boost solenoid, and we'll get that all hooked up and plumbed in. Man, this is super exciting. I am so stoked. I'm so close to being able to have this car running and driving on the turbo. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.